the show starts. But hey everybody, welcome to Dumb Investing. This is the new stuff. So we have the daily show. We roll random dice. We pick random stocks. That's what we do there. This show, that guy over there is Harry.
That guy, that's Lloyd. Still dumb up in here.
We are dumb up in here. This is the commentary part. So we wanted to make the videos a little bit shorter so people could fit them in between stuff and all that other jazz. So we're trying to do the dice rolling and the random stock and the kicking Wall Street's ass kind of in one thing. And we're going to come over here and talk about other stuff. So, Harry, what's on your mind? What's going on in the market?
Well, I mean, it's been a few days since we've talked about the market because we've had a little bit of a transition. So there's been a lot going on. But one thing that really comes to mind, and it particularly pertains to the country or state that you live in. And there seems to be a Fed guy that did a few things that people aren't so happy about over at the Dallas Fed.
Yeah, so we have right now in the grand old U.S. of America, two of our Fed heads are retiring early or resigning because they got caught.
You can't call it that.
They're resigning is what they're doing.
No, I mean, I saw press releases and you know, it was all over Twitter. They're clearly retiring.
Okay, well, they're retiring early because they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they were trading stocks that were benefiting from the Fed's actions, and so people are believing, you know, what they're saying is this is a distraction. Well, it's a distraction because they had an unfair advantage that the average retail trader didn't have. So people are a little upset about that. And especially Rosengren, I think that's who he is. He's the guy from Boston. And he was the guy talking about how real estate investments were sketchy, yet he was making a whole bunch of money on them as they were going up in the background, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just like they don't play by the rules. We all knew they don't play by the rules, and now it was kind of they're painting the house with the freaking $100 bills that they're getting by not playing by the rules. So yeah, people got a little upset.
I mean, once in my life, it would be nice to have an unfair advantage on that kind of stuff.
But it doesn't happen for regular people.
This is a guarantee. Like, you're going to 10x your money. It's a guarantee. You're good. Just put it in.
See, now you're talking Martha Stewart. You're talking about jail time, right?
Well,
I mean, she did the same thing, and she got to go to jail.
Right, but didn't someone like Pelosi, isn't she worth somewhere in the realm of $200 million, and she makes what, $250,000 a year?
She's just a really savvy investor.
Understood.
We said that with a straight face, even. I mean, yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how that happens. So what else is going on? So we got two Fed heads that are leaving. Powell was kind of pissed off, saying, "Hey, you know, we've got ethics, guys. What is going on?" And then Powell's in the hot seat because Warren is like, "You're a dangerous man. I don't like you at all, and I'm going to take you out, butter." So,
that was a bold statement, hey?
That was crazy.
He called Powell a dangerous man.
Yeah. During a Senate committee session where Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell were explaining to the Senate kind of what they were doing because the Senate's their boss, right? So the Senate gets to ask questions. And so, Warren's question was, "You're a dangerous man. You and them bankers are friends," and stuff. I mean, it was like, whoa, what just happened here? It was awesome.
I got to tell you, I'm scared for Powell.
I am too.
I think he's going to have a tough time keeping his job.
I do too.
I think he's really good for the markets. I think he's a very intelligent person. I think he speaks well. I think he says what we are all, well, not all the time, but he often says what we're all thinking. And, you know, he seems to be a fairly straight shooter.
I think he tries to limit the amount of FUD. We've talked about FUD before, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I think he tries to paint the blandest picture possible so that people have as much of the direction that he can give them without going out and spooking people.
Right.
Yeah.
As much clarity as possible. Right. Without saying this is exactly what we're going to do when we're going to do it, because then people will react immediately to that.
Yeah, I think that Warren and her little group of loonies or whatever, I don't know what they call themselves, but they're the left of the left, right, of that group. I think they've got the president's ear, and I think they're really going to rail on him that this guy's the wrong guy. And I think it's going to give them an opportunity to bring in somebody that's a little bit more on their side, which I think is going to be bad for the economy. But
do we know anything about who is waiting in the wings?
We don't. You want me to do a little bit of research here? I can do a
No,
little
it
bit of
doesn't have
research.
to be right now. We can do it another time. But
I
just
haven't studied
curious
enough.
if it's a Democrat or a Republican. And
Oh,
because
come. You already know.
I know, but their fiscal policies are so dramatically different to one another, and
Yeah.
that scares the living bejumpers out of me.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, very interesting. I think what else has happened? We've got, I mean, J. Powell came out last week, and we talked about inflation. He had his little hearing there and went through his bunch of questions and talking about tapering, and we feel like we've got a little bit of clarity on when that's going to happen.
Okay, so I did a little bit of research. You want to hear this? This is from Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes says Chairman Powell faithfully adheres to the bogus theories and misunderstandings currently guiding monetary policy. Any replacement from the White House would likely be worse.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
This guy's horrible, but whoever they pick is going to be worse. Oh, I love it.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So what we think we know, and what Jay Powell alluded to and has said, is that they are now talking about tapering. And what we're thinking is that tapering is going to start potentially in November. And they're going to step the tapering, and it's going to be, well, that's kind of what tapering means, is a pare down effect of buying the mortgage-backed securities and what's the other one? Treasuries, thank you. So the $120 billion that we're spending or printing per month and spending on mortgage-backed security and treasuries, they're going to start paring that down. So what that means is they're essentially going to stop flooding the economy with money, and ideally, that will slow the well, I don't know if we want to say it's going to slow the economy down, but it's definitely going to provide less liquidity in the market, although there is a substantial amount of liquidity in the market. The reverse repo rates are somewhere in the $1.3 trillion range.
Right. So
and yeah,
what that means is there is excess liquidity that's not even being tapped, and it's having to be deposited at night because it's just sitting around. So if they do start to taper, is it going to have much of an effect? Because there's all this money anyways, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's just nuts.
Absolutely. And that's the money that is not necessarily, well, let's see. The banks are only allowed to hold so much money per day. So at the end of the day, if they have not lent out that money, they need to do something with that money. And then that means that's what goes to the reverse repo on a nightly basis. So they send it out to the Fed or the reverse repo, whatever it goes to, and then they get it back the next morning. So it's kind of a one-day transaction, but they're not allowed to carry that much cash. They're supposed to be lending it out. But nobody's borrowing money right now, even at extremely low interest rates. So looking a year down the road, why would people want to borrow with higher interest rates if they're not borrowing with extremely low interest rates?
You got me.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Is everybody just flush with cash every year?
Well,
is there money flying out of the vents in your house there?
Was it Kathy Woods who said everybody has everything they need? So right now they've already bought their cars. They've already bought their boats. They've got what they need.
I mean, there is some aspect to that, right?
I mean, the only thing we're going to need is someday people like Wells Fargo and all that are going to say, hey, it's time to come back to work, and everybody's going to have to go buy some pants.
Which is why cotton's going crazy today.
Oh, man. And we don't own cotton anymore.
We don't own cotton anymore, unfortunately. So what else do we got? We got to talk about the debt ceiling. Debt ceiling is a major issue, right?
Do we have to talk about this circus show?
We do have to talk about this S show. Oh, wait, that's a C.
No, it is an S show. I mean, it's... So let's break it down to the layman's terms. We got three things, right? We've got the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is how much the government can borrow to continue working. Basically, you guys have heard us talk about building a budget. Our government doesn't do a good job at that. Our government spends $100 and they bring in $75. So they have to go borrow $25 every single day. And the debt ceiling says you can only borrow up to this amount. And when you get there, you can't borrow anymore. And so what they're talking about is every department in the United States is going to have to trim their budget by a certain amount, and Yellen was today, she was saying, bad things are going to happen. People aren't going to get their Social Security checks. Army people aren't going to get paid. I don't think it's that drastic, but she's painting, the worst case picture. So we've got this one topic. Should we increase it? We've increased it 73 times in the last 50 years or something like that, right?
I think it's going to change this time.
Well, so this time, here's the game. So Pelosi has this one item, right? And she's up there on her grand, we're going to get banned for some of this stuff that we're saying. But so she's up there on her grand pulpit. And she says, this one thing is not going through. The Democrats could push it through if they wanted to, all by themselves. They have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the executive, which is the vice president who breaks tiebreakers in the Senate, right? They can pass this bill all by themselves. But they don't want to. The debt ceiling bill. But what Pelosi is saying, she's saying, but we're in power. And here's what we want. We want that infrastructure bill, and we want the social infrastructure. We want the $5 trillion to go along with the debt ceiling. It's all or nothing. And we're not doing diddly squat. Man, that was hard for me. Unless the Republicans are doing it so that we can say this is a bi-party, right? It's bipartisan. We all were singing Kumbaya. And the Republicans are standing back going, y'all are nuts. Y'all are absolutely crazy spending $3.5 million on all this social. So we ain't got that kind of money. And you're not going to raise taxes enough because people are paying enough already. Y'all are nuts. You're crazy. Let's do the debt ceiling. We agree to that. We can totally do that. And they're just like, hell no, unless we get all three, we ain't getting nothing. So it's going to come down to this. I mean, it's bad.
So Biden spoke the other day too. And one thing that I picked up on his speech is he says that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill will cost us nothing.
Yeah, because he thinks he's going to go get it from all the corporations. He's going to raise that. He's going to go get it from the 1%. He's going to go tax, and boom. I mean, it's crazy, dude. We are in a country that last month we had record tax revenue, higher than it's ever been, but we're spending it faster than we get it all the time. Everybody thinks free lunch is free lunch. They don't understand somebody's paying for it. Somebody's always paying for it. It's just the way it is. There is no free lunch because you ain't going to go to work and work for free. So if you ain't going to go to work and work for free, well, guess what? That guy making that sandwich ain't going to make a sandwich for free either. That's just how it is.
And the bread ain't free, and the meat ain't free, and the cheese ain't free.
No, it doesn't happen. But people think, oh, hell, I just got it. Obama gave me this. No, he didn't. Your neighbor paid for it. That's just how it is.
Obama, we're going back a little bit.
Well, I remember the Obama phones, and everybody's walking around with their Obama phones. I was just like, oh,
right.
Are you kidding me?
Everybody's entitled to a phone.
Oh, I like this channel. This is fun. We can just let loose. Who cares?
So we can. There's no doubt.
We're at 15
You get to talk
minutes.
politics on this one.
Yeah, we talk about everything now. So 15 minutes, I think. Should we cut it off
Yes,
for the
let's
day?
cut it off. There will be more to talk about tomorrow. We'll hopefully see the market rebound tomorrow, and we can tell everyone if we were able to buy the dip or not.
So, especially on this channel, man, would we love comments? I see we got one live viewer right now. Man, if you guys want to talk about stuff, let loose. We've already rolled our dice. We already know what we're going to buy tomorrow. We're getting some silver guys that have no revenue, but they have profits. I don't know how that happens, but it's awesome.
Weirdest
We bought
thing
them.
ever.
Yeah, it's so that's on the other channel or other playlist. I don't even know how we're going to do that yet. We still got to organize all that jazz. So we're doing that. We're going to talk free on this channel. Who knows? We might have another one. I still got to do a pool update and explain to everybody why I'm 10 months into a pool that don't work. It's kind of awesome. You got a rental to talk about. You ever get your stairs fixed? We'll cover that in another topic. I still can't find one because they're all $225 a square foot, which is way outside of my budget. So, all right, that's what we got coming up. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll do this again. We don't even have to talk about trading.
Who cares?
So, yeah. Yeah, have a good night. Woo-hoo!